Last week, I took a look forward at the movies I'm most anticipating for 2017. Today, I'm taking a look back at the top 5 movies that have been my favorite thus far in 2017. Welcome to Durbania, I'm Durbin, and this is my top 5 list, my top 5 favorite movies so far in 2017. I mean, we're a little over halfway through the year, and this year's been a pretty good year for movies, some surprises out there. So, without further ado, let's get into that top 5 list. This list was significantly harder for me to put together than the one I put together last week. So here we go. Coming in at number 5 for me is Baby Driver. This was a movie that just completely surprised me this year. Didn't really know what to expect from this movie. I've seen a couple Edgar Wright films, but not tons, and so I didn't really know what to expect, and I think that helped me a lot going in, not knowing what to expect. First and foremost, the thing that I said in my review that continues to stand out to me right now is the music. The music and the music selection they picked for this movie was amazing. It flowed perfect. It was amazing. But what was more amazing about it, you have these heavy action sequences, and the cars would do their thing and sequence to the music. You'd hear guns fire and beat with the music. The way that it would work, I heard somebody describe it as a musical, but kind of like a new take on a musical. And honestly, I get that because it was choreographed in such a way that it was like a musical, but choreographed in such a way that you're watching it, and the only way you would know it's choreographed is that everything is happening in beat with the music, and that's it. Otherwise, it's not this over dramatic thing. It fits with the movie. It was amazing, and I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed this movie. It's definitely in my top 5 so far in 2017. Number 4 for me is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I was so excited for this one. I loved the first one. I think I still like the first one just a wee bit better, but honestly, this one had me in stitches from beginning to end. It was just a hysterical movie, and of course they did a great job taking Peter Quill, Star-Lord, and moving him forward and growing him a little bit more, and they did a pretty good job of that with the other characters. Baby Groot, I enjoyed Baby Groot. Maybe he was in it too much. I go back and forth on that. I've only seen the movie once. I think I need to see it again to make a real judgment call on that. But I keep hearing how other people were really annoyed by Baby Groot and how everybody really loved Baby Groot. And I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle leaning towards loved Baby Groot because I didn't feel at any one point annoyed by Baby Groot. But then I stop and go, but would he have been more hilarious if they used him just a tad bit more sparingly? I don't know. Point is I'm still not disappointed with how they used him. I loved Baby Groot. The whole thing was awesome. The end credit scene, Teenage Groot, that was great. And then you had Peter Quill's dad.
I'm your dad, Peter.
You had Kurt Russell in this, man, and I don't read the comics. So I didn't know he was a bad guy. That got me. I mean, come on. Peter finally got to play ball with his dad, and his dad is a bad guy trying to use his son. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, that made me so angry. So for me, that was a really good twist. Mary Poppins. You saw the movie? You know exactly what that means. But then when Yondu dies, when he bites the dust, well, I guess he doesn't really bite the dust because he dies in the cold vacuum of space. But when he dies, that was an unexpected turn. And right at that moment where it's like Peter Quill starting to see, you were my father. You were a father figure to me. And I accept that you're dead? No! Like that whole, it was heart-wrenching to me. So I thought they did a really good job with this movie. The humor was great, and I'm looking forward to where they're going to go with this next in Infinity Wars. I absolutely can't wait. Coming in at number 3 for me is Spider-Man Homecoming. I thought this movie was really, really good. It's funny because when I saw Spider-Man Homecoming with my brother-in-laws, when I watched it for the first time when everybody was out for a family reunion, that morning we went and saw Wonder Woman, and then after that we went and saw Spider-Man Homecoming. And what I thought was interesting was the comparison that my mind drew. Because if you go to Wonder Woman, that is the big, huge, epic, dramatic, awesome, music swelling, emotion swelling movie. And Spider-Man Homecoming is the exact opposite. I mean, it is the absolute hysterical, funny, light stuff. It was fun. It was pure fun. And it's like, that's what a Spider-Man movie should be, right? Just pure fun. Spider-Man is such a fun character, and I think Tom Holland has this role nailed, man. I think he did a great job. I don't know who your favorite Spider-Man is, but Tom Holland's up there for me now. Spoilers, you have that moment where the whole building has collapsed on him, and he's trying to push the concrete up, and he's crying for help like a kid, like a helpless kid, and he looks in his reflection, and there's Peter Parker face, and then half Spider-Man face in the reflection, and he's like, come on, Peter, come on, Spider-Man, come on, Spider-Man, and he pushes all that stuff off him, and he gets out. Oh my gosh. That was a great moment for me. I really enjoyed that. Number 2 for me is War for the Planet of the Apes. This movie is definitely not your typical summer blockbuster. This one's different. This one is heavy. This one is emotional. It's deep, and it makes you ask questions. and it's funny because it's slower paced than the other movies that I've mentioned for sure, but that's not a negative. This movie was powerful. It was powerful, and what's so amazing about it is how much I'm rooting for these apes and not the humans, and I'm a human. Oh my gosh. And I just really thoroughly enjoyed War for the Planet of the Apes. I enjoyed this trilogy. I enjoyed the direction it took. I enjoyed the wrap up of some of the stuff and some of these characters. Like, it was good. On top of the fact, I mean, if you saw the movie, did you not get misty-eyed when the little girl came and gave Caesar some food, and the apes gave them what they had kept back for Caesar, and all the apes stood up in their cages and did this? Apes together strong. Telling you, those are great moments. So yeah, while not your typical summer blockbuster, War for the Planet of the Apes is just an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, see it. If you haven't seen the other two, see those first, then see this. But it was a good one. Now let's dive into some honorable mentions. And I have to do honorable mentions because this list was just really hard, and there was a lot of good movies that came out in 2017. So, first up, Power Rangers. I really enjoyed Power Rangers this year. I did not think I was. In fact, I am embarrassed to admit that I liked Power Rangers when I was a kid. I'm embarrassed to admit how much I was obsessed with that show when I was a kid. I freaking loved that show. I had Power Ranger birthday parties. I wanted to be the Green Ranger, who later turned into the White Ranger, and I had a huge crush on the Pink Ranger. I mean, I love that old series, but it has not done well with time, and I look back on that with utter embarrassment. That show is just, I can't even watch it again. So when this movie was coming out, I was curious because of the nostalgia thing, and I wanted to see it. Well, number one, I was surprised by what an 80s turn it took, like in its music and its feel, but also it had a very strong Breakfast Club vibe. I come to find in the special features, that was intentional. It was intended to have that strong Breakfast Club vibe, and I like what they said in the special features, that they liked what 80 movies did. That in one 80s movie, they had different tones. And in one single movie, you can have something that's incredibly hokey and corny, and have something that is incredibly heartfelt, and have something that is scary. You can have all those tones existing in one movie. So they wanted to kind of do that. So they had the Breakfast Club tone. They definitely had some of the campy, corny tone with the Power Rangers. And they had some scary moments. Rita was kind of scary when she first appeared on the scene. But like the way that specific direction that they took and that choice that they made in presenting this movie, I really, really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed the character development and how quickly I was pulled into their worlds, and I cared about the Rangers. So really like Power Rangers. My next honorable mention is Lego Batman. I only finally just saw this one. And one of the things I absolutely loved about that movie is all the Batman references.
Sir, I've seen you go through similar phases in 2016 and 2012 and 2008 and 2005 and 1997 and 1995 and 1992 and 1989 and that weird one in 1966.
I have aged phenomenally.
I just was laughing hysterically. I feel like young kids are laughing because it's a great Lego movie, but they're like, when it comes to some of those Batman jokes and some of those Batman lines that they threw in there. I loved it, man. My nephews were out to visit, and you know, they were talking about Lego Batman a lot, and they kept quoting to me, I have an extra ab. I'm proud of my nephews and nieces for quoting Lego Batman. It was amazing. John Wick Chapter 2. Loved the first John Wick. Just didn't want to see it on the big screen. I felt like I had no interest in it, and boy, was I wrong. My mom nagged me until I watched it, and I'm glad she did, because I love John Wick. Then I thought, how could the sequel live up? It lived up, okay? It lived up. John Wick Chapter 2 is awesome. And coming in for me at number 1, I'm going to cheat. Wonder Woman and Logan. And I had to do it that way because I can't pick. And I can't pick because here's why. You have Wonder Woman, which is the beginning of a hero's journey. And it's so full of optimism. It's so full of hope. I loved how full of hope she was. I love the trench scene where she takes no man's land. That scene is powerful to me on so many levels. The cinematography, the music, all the stuff that went down, on top of the fact that every soldier was inspired by her actions. Like, it was just incredible. So I loved Wonder Woman. I loved what they did with that movie. I loved how they brought it together. I loved the whole general theme being maybe it's not what we deserve, or not about what we deserve, but it's about what you believe. What an awesome theme. I mean, I just had so much fun with Wonder Woman. And then I had to put Logan there at number 1 because Logan is a masterpiece of a movie. And it's a masterpiece of a movie because this is a hero's end. We have followed this character since the year 2000, I think, in that from the very first X-Men movie, Hugh Jackman taking on this role has carried it on for about 17 years. And so this is his exit from the role. And so having spent not just a few movies or a trilogy or a quadrilogy or something with this character, we've spent 17 years with this character. So this was a true goodbye, because even if the next Wolverine is fantastic, they're not ever going to be Hugh Jackman. And Hugh Jackman was... So it was a goodbye to him, and it was a look at the end of a superhero's journey. And what was interesting about it was how real it felt. It didn't feel bloated with CGI or anything like that. It was very grounded. It was very down to earth. It was very emotional. It was very slow. I hesitated there because, like, when I say it's very slow, that sounds bad. In this case, it was not bad. In this case, I think it worked out just fine. But it was just such a good movie and a different look at a hero that we really haven't seen on the silver screen before, to really watch their end. And so that was really interesting to see that. I think they did his character such honor, and I think Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, some of my favorite performances from them. It was just such a great movie. So if you were to look back at the movies that have come out thus far in 2017, what would your top 5 be? What did I miss that absolutely should be on my list? Make sure to let me know that in the comments. While you're there, hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Next to the subscribe button is that bell. When you click that bell, you'll be notified the moment I drop new videos. Got all kinds of great videos coming out here soon, like this weekend doing a theological analysis on The Mist as we build up next to another Stephen King movie, The Dark Tower, which I'm really excited about. So lots of really fun things. I can't wait. I'm Durbin. Thank you for checking out Durbania.